Hello? So, during the fast, I was exercising because the main thing that keeps me from fasting, which I have needed to do, is that I lose my size. I lose the weight. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's not weight that I don't use or that isn't benefiting me in some way. So I exercised during my fasting periods, which made it a really, really intense. Really intense doing 62 separate 60-hour fasts, where the first one I started the fast with running probably 3 or 4 miles. And then the second one I started with running probably 4 or 5 miles. And in between there, a lot um, of push-ups and ab workouts and all this stuff. So I'm not going to show you my muscles because you won't know what they've looked at like before. But they're really, I got stronger during the fasts. Okay, so now on to the more spiritual experiences that were inspired through the fasting, because mostly what I wanted to do during the fastings was meditation, qigong, and exercise. So I would do, I probably did 3 or 4 hours or more of meditation and qigong a day. I didn't keep track. I don't count the time really when I do meditation and qigong because it's a hindrance. If I don't have somewhere to be, there's no reason to count the time. I guess there could be for discipline reasons, but if it's not in my mind at all, that helps to be more present in the meditation, to be more relaxed during the qigong. And I learned how to access more prana, more chi, through the meditation, through the qigong. This stuff is being shown to me. How to access more energy through visualization, through more deep breathing. The main thing is that I'm breathing and gaining more energy from the breathing than I'm using to exist in that moment, so that I can keep going and not have to lay down or sleep or eat. Eating, right. It's hilarious to me now. So, I would do qigong, meditate, build up the energy from that, then exercise. After the exercise, qigong, meditation, build up the energy, then exercise. So I kept that up for most of my fast. That's what I was doing. And time really just, it's like when I'm not eating, I have so much more time on my hands. I don't have to think about it, although I did end up thinking about eating. I don't have to be going to the kitchen constantly. I don't have to be thinking about what to eat next. It doesn't enter into my routine. So I replaced that with the meditation and qigong, which was really intense. I've never meditated or done that much qigong in that amount of time ever. And I really benefited from being able to do that, from having the discipline, sun gazing included. sun gazing and sunbathing. My meditations would mostly be outside, sitting on the ground, or during sunbathing, I'm usually meditating during that too. So, the pranic visions, and these are some new, some I've talked about before. So beautiful. Okay, so what I see when it is prana, and I'm going to put a link to interview with Henry Munfort talking about, I call them chi bugs. And the chi bugs go, and they light up like fireflies. They look like fireflies, really. Chi bugs. So, I've described this in previous videos, and then I had the huge aha moment when it was confirmed to me that my intuition was right, that it is an energy pattern in the sky is where I usually see it, in the interview with Henry Munfort when he describes being able to see prana or chi moving in these like little firefly looking things. I forget exactly what he said it, but I was like, somebody else sees them, you know. That's what I would do if somebody came on here and said, yeah, I see the red letter ticker, or I see the other stuff that you talk about. Excited, very excited. So I see the chi bugs mostly when I'm outside looking at the sky, and that's where a lot more things are visible against the backdrop of blue sky, maybe some clouds. So I will see prana or chi. And I now know that since I'm able to, I'm on the psychic level that is able to interpret that level of energy, like the shaman Henry Munfort. I'm on the level of breatharian consciousness, to where I will be able to see and manipulate chi to nourish me, to give me energy. And this was reaffirmed to me because of, like I said before, I ate probably 1,000 calories in 6 days. Well, those calories, if they actually were used as energy in my body, which I'm not convinced that they were obviously burnt off when I ran for, whatever amount I ran. I probably ran 10 miles at the most, I don't keep track, and walked another 2 miles during the course of these fastings. And then during the day, I was doing push-ups and ab exercises, so the energy was not coming from food. It's obvious. I don't have fat on my body anymore. I didn't have any fat when I started this fast, except for maybe a little bit on my sides or my thighs, a little bit, which but that wasn't really. So it's really completely obvious to me now that all of my energy comes from chi. Pretty much all of everybody's energy comes from chi. It can be sunlight, sunlight transferred into plants, and then we consume the plants, and then ergo, energy. Well, the problem with that digestive process is it takes a lot of energy. So we end up using a lot of the energy from the things that we eat to dispose of and reform and move through our digestive tract all this waste that's just retransformed food. This is big time stuff, big time stuff. Okay, so some of the numbers I've hit upon here is these aren't confirmed scientifically, and they're just, I haven't really dug into it deeply enough, but I have looked into it. That okay, 60 to 70% of our energy comes from breathing. Okay, the other 30-40% will come from food or water. Okay, so what if if we use, the other number was like 70 to 90% of the energy that comes from food is used in the digestion process. So if we subtract the digestive process, we're not doing that anymore. Ergo, we get the 30 or 40% that we're not getting from breathing. We're able to get that from breathing, because we're not using the energy for digestion that we're breathing. So there's not the lag anymore. It fills in the blank. This is intellectual, I know, and this had my intellect had to be won over. That's the only way I could be convinced. And these are just, they're not proven, and obviously nothing that I say can be proven, and I'm fine with that. But in my mind, this is like a big wake up, wake up, wake up, to say that food is an illusion, that if we can access enough energy through our breathing, through visualization, meditation on, obviously when we're meditating, we're not using much energy. If we're meditating, we're not constantly feeding our brain with another big percentage of the energy that we got from food. Then we're able to have more energy. Yeah, so this is when I've watched probably all the breatharian videos I could watch. And all of them talk about, yeah, you have more energy, you don't sleep as much, and you feel clear and pure. Whereas when we eat food, we sleep a lot, we have less energy, we're not pure, because it's like the dirt is drawn up, the minerals from the dirt, and whatever is pushed up through the process of becoming the plant, and then fruit, or just the plant, we're consuming the soil. Basically, it's the nutrients from the soil, plus sunlight. If only anybody else knew what I was talking about. That would help a lot. Okay. At least I have a sense of humor about that. Okay. Break for laughter, break for laughter. So this reconfirms the idea that's been nagging away at me, the idea that before Adam and Eve, using a lot of air quotes today, air quotes and air quotes, before Adam and Eve, people were breatharians. What did they do? They ate. They were the first beings to eat. That's the most basic interpretation of the story. And then, there's the interpretation of the knowledge of good and evil. They lost they lost their purity because they ate. So, if people were originally breatharians, that means that people can again be breatharians. And the more people that do so, the more likely more people will. So that's exciting. And you can see it, Supreme Master TV, they have a whole, there's a lot of videos on breatharians. No, they're not proven. It doesn't really need to be proven once you have the spiritual awareness and the connectivity to know that you can be breatharian. Having it proven by logical and narrow-minded science it's not that important. Okay, so let's move on to the other pranic vision, and this one is more than likely something that other people are going to be able to see. So I want you to look into this. Okay, so go outside if it's clear outside, you can see blue sky, lay down, look at the sky. I know you'll have the pre-suggestion that you might see this, but you're just going to have to use your discernment if it's my suggestion or if it's your actual vision seeing it. In the sky, there are these, they look like waves or like rainbow waves. They'll be, they kind of flow across the sky. They're like faint rainbows. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a paranormal experience. I think that more likely it's the sun fractalizing through the water molecules that are in the air and creating this motion rainbow type visual phenomenon.